Yo, what up, guys? How you doing? Welcome back to the channel. So Sony just released their new camera, the Sony, they call it the vlog camera, ZV-E1. And as an avid Sony user, I feel like I won't be doing you guys justice if I didn't review it. Unfortunately, I didn't get sent a Sony camera like many other reviewers doing this, but I think this tiny camera has a lot of potential from what I've seen from most of the reviews that I've seen so far. I feel like it's something worth looking into. So let's jump right into it.
Alpha.
So out of the gate, the first thing that we noticed from from what Sony says is the camera is a full frame. I think this is something that was to be expected, especially after they released the FX30 as an APS-C, and then you knew that their next camera was gonna be something that would affect like the A7C market, because I feel like they had not made something there. But I feel this camera gives you what the A7C was supposed to be, which is that link between an APS-C body but with functionality of a cinema camera. So like one thing that I've learned over the past few days is this camera has the same sensor as the FX3 and the A7S3. So essentially you have a lot of what the FX3 offers, but at half the price, which makes it more valuable. If you remember the issues that I had on the A7C, this camera, I'm told, doesn't have. So it might really be something worth looking into. So I do remember going outside to look for I think we were looking to get like a vlog camera, because if you saw my review that I did on the A7 IV, it was like it's almost impossible to vlog on that camera without, straining your arms. I looked at the ZV-10 and the ZV-E, I don't remember the other one, but like one of the challenges we had with that one was you couldn't change the lens, whereas with this one you can use interchangeable lenses. The only challenge that comes with full frame sensors is the cost of the lenses is just ridiculous. So that's something that you want to bear in mind. And also the cost of this camera itself is like around $2,000. I don't really know, man. Imagine after paying for all for a gimbal, now they give you an AI within the camera to stabilize your frame. That's crazy, man. But this again is something that I feel will be beneficial to people whom didn't own any camera before, and then you want to start your first camera, especially if you're stepping into that full frame range. I think this is a very brilliant solution to have as a camera. The fact that you can do rec focus with autofocus, like Sony is just on a different level when it comes to their focus levels. Like I've used Canon cameras and they're not really the best when it comes to focus. And one thing that made me fully switch to a Sony camera was, especially when you're doing these talking heads, when you're doing these YouTube videos, it's just the focus that you have. This camera, like I just saw them showing product reviews and then how it focuses on the product and then goes back to your face. We call that rec focus, like that's something that's amazing. If the camera does it for you, like what else do you need? I think that the fact that you also get 10-bit 422 within this camera is another crazy thing, because in the A7C, the most you got was 8-bit. So like if you're getting 10-bit and you're getting it at almost the same price, I feel like this camera will cannibalize the people who are buying the A7C. At this point, I just feel this camera solves a lot of the issues that I highlighted within my A7C video. I think another crazy thing, the fact that you get cinematic vlog setting. Like this camera is essentially targeting people who are into vlogs. For me, I feel like it targets me because I'm looking for a vlogging camera, but I was looking at getting like the ZV-10 or the A6400 just to go back to that APS-C sensor, because it has more affordable lenses. But then like if you're vlogging, you're not really using a vlogging camera to do a lot of work, so you can get a lot of variety in terms of the sensors that you can get, and they're quite affordable. So but I feel like this makes me think twice, because I'm like, oh, I already have lenses for my full frame cameras, I might as well just get a lighter body. But then I would have to touch it and feel it to understand how it feels like and see how heavy it is. But from the reviews that I've seen also so far online, is like people have been like, oh, this is the smallest full frame camera that Sony has. And the fact that it has this cinematic vlog setting, that just changes everything. Because every time, like when you're making videos, you're trying to get that cinematic look so that you separate yourself from the competition, right? So the one thing that, when you're on this channel, that I'm Team Sony, so I'm always gonna be like, yeah, you should get it. The thing that I think with this camera and who I think it's targeted for, I feel like it's targeted for content creators, but mainly people who do not own full frame cameras already, if you're looking into getting into the full frame range, I think this is a valid camera to look into, especially at the price, because I think this is the same price as getting the Sony A7C. It's not really in the same price bracket as the Sony A7 IV, but for what it offers you, I think that it's a great investment to get if you do not own a camera. If you already own like an FX3, I don't really see why you should be moving to this unless you need a second camera, but still, like, I think there are better options than this camera. The thing is, it packs a lot of good quality features that you should consider. I mean, there's a lot of AI powered things like stabilization and things like that. But right now, the one thing that I've learned when it comes to cameras is, at a certain threshold, once you start spending $2,000 and above, a camera really does nothing. You want to invest a lot of your money into the lenses that you use. So really, when it comes to these cameras, you can never go wrong. When it comes to Sony, you can never go wrong. The FX30 for me is something that I recommend highly because I feel like it does a lot of work. However, like, if you just want to have a full frame, then going for something like the FX3 might be expensive, but this camera then gives you a good entry point. I also think this camera is a very good entry point for content creators, vloggers, people who just want to make YouTube videos, people who want to make stuff for their Instagram, people who just want to make content but not necessarily want to invest a lot of money. And also like a safe bet. Like with Sony, I know that once you buy a camera, it probably can last you the next 5 years. But the way that they keep releasing cameras, it makes you be like, damn, man, should I have bought? But one other thing that I've noticed with these full frame cameras is they don't really lose value. Like I saw the A7 II, I think it was going for like 1,500 or some stuff like that, which for me is actually great when it comes to electronics. So my recommendation is, if you like it, get it. Like, you just have to create content. But if you already have a full frame camera, I wouldn't really lose my sleep over it. I wouldn't really be like, oh my God, I have to get this. Like, I would die if I don't have this. I think that it's not really a necessity, but it's a nice to have. If you have extra change and you need a vlogging camera, definitely consider getting this. With that said, let me know in the comment section, will you be getting the ZV-E1? Will you be moving from your current camera to that one or not? I'm not moving. I'm not getting it. But eventually I might, like I said, for vlogging, but who knows when. I'll see you guys in the next one.